Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from The Federalist stated August 27th, and it says, Tim Walz's malignant lies disqualify him from being anywhere near power. Now, is there anything this dude doesn't lie about? I mean, my God. So I think even there was something that came out, I'm recording this a few days after August 27th, and I think there was even something, I'm just having a real hard time right now thinking about it, but something came out. It was another thing that he lied about. I'll try to find an article on that, and I'll probably do a video within the next couple of days. You'll see it about whatever that was, because I'll find the damn thing. But anyway, let's just go into this, because I'm just blabbering incessantly right now. So, for the Minnesota governor and far-left vice presidential candidate, the truth is fluid in the laboratory of manufactured facts. So let's go down here. Author says, I once had a boss who was filled with big ideas. I quickly learned he was full of something else. Gee, I wonder what that could be. He was eternally on the verge of landing the next lucrative deal that would save the company and make everyone rich, and he delivered empty promises. Lies. Says, but to this day I can't decide whether he was just a run-of-the-mill, big-talking BSer or a malignant narcissist telling people what they want to hear to serve selfish purposes, buying time with the next lie. Says pathological gamblers think that way. And I apologize. All of a sudden I feel like my nose is running, so I apologize for the sniffles. Says Tim Walz is a lying dog-faced pony soldier, as Democratic Party deposed President Joe Biden, a world-class liar in his own right, would say. I remember that. That was pretty funny. People were like, what the hell does that even mean? Says Walz, the Marxist Minnesota governor who finds himself in the white-hot national spotlight as Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate on the Dem presidential ticket, can't even keep the soldier part of his story straight. His impressive resume of public lies has always seemed to be for the furtherance of power. And, well, that's what Marxists do. Just keep in mind, people, folks on the far left lie about everything all the time. So take what they say with the largest grain of salt that even God can possibly imagine whenever they say something. So next section here says the liar and his lies. What's that Al Franken quote? Like the book that he did, The Lying Liars Who Lie, or something like that. That's what this reminds me of. Anyway, so it says Walz has justifiably taken a lot of heat from veterans for misrepresenting his leadership rank, does it say? Okay, I thought it said something else for a minute. In the National Guard and abandoning his Iraq-bound unit in his first run for Congress. His critics say Walz has built a nearly 20-year political career on stolen valor. He has on multiple occasions misspoke in implying that he served in a war zone when he has served in Italy and Norway. He left the National Guard just as his unit was alerted it would be heading off to war in Iraq. And from the time I'm recording this, the Walz and Kamala interview with Dana Bash on CNN happened, and Tim Walz is basically saying, basically he forgot how to speak English and use his words properly. It's like, for 20 years you did? Like, what? So yeah, the dude just can't tell the truth. And it's like, every time you take a step up in government to like a different thing, like a different level, like, he's the governor, so there's only going to be like a state spotlight on him, and the Minnesota journalists are going to cover for him because they're all on his side. But then when it's like you head into national office, especially if it's like vice president or president, you're going to have, like, again, said there, a white hot spotlight on you. So things are going to come out, and you better, if you've lied about stuff the way he has, it'd probably be best just to go, maybe I shouldn't do this. But again, it's all about gaining power. So let's keep going here. It says, during Walz's run for Congress in 2006, his campaign told some whoppers about his driving under the influence and speeding charges in Nebraska, insisting that the DUI charge wasn't true. It was a really bad lie, one that Walz allowed to live on for years, and it turns out it was true. It says, in the same election year, the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce took Walz to task for declaring on his congressional campaign website that he was the recipient of an award for his work with the business community. And as Fox News reported, a scathing letter to Walz in 2006 by Barry L. Kennedy, then president of the Nebraska Chamber, called Walz out on his BS. As we researched this matter and can confirm that you have not been the recipient of any award from the Nebraska Chamber of Commerce, the letter states. So, again, that's something that so easily checks. So why lie about it? I don't get that. Says Walz has for years said his 2 children were conceived via in vitro fertilization, or IVF, when in fact the governor and his wife used intrauterine insemination, or IUI, a significantly different form of assisted reproductive technology. And I have no idea what the difference is between those, but let's keep going. Says, as my Federalist colleague Jordan Boyd reported last week, Walz has used the IVF issue as a political cudgel, attacking pro-life conservatives who have raised ethical and moral questions about conception practices that involve serially creating or destroying embryos outside the womb. He ran for governor on the lie that he and his wife used IVF to start a family, and the accomplice media covered for him by suggesting Walz used a catch-all phrase for a wide range of fertility treatments. So of course they're going to cover for him because our media sucks. So it says, the coach. Says everything is a political calculation for Tim Walz. For the Minnesota governor and far-left vice presidential candidate, the truth is fluid in the laboratory of manufactured facts, and his allies in the Democratic Party and corporate media have helped him amplify his narrative inventions, from false military ranks to Al Bundy-style football glory stories. I remember those. Saying if you don't know who Al Bundy is, go look up Married with Children and read about, obviously, TV show with Ed O'Neill playing Al Bundy. See some of his football stories. They're always very, very funny. It says, in Minnesota, we trust a coach who turned a team that was 0-27 into state champions. Senator Amy Klobuchar, Democrat of Minnesota, told the joy-filled, useful idiots assembled at last week's Democratic National Convention in Chicago. He was an assistant coach on the Mankato West, I don't know if I pronounce it right, Mankato West High School football team, while Walz and his political handlers have certainly inflated the former linebackers coach's role in turning the losing team around. He was never a head coach. He didn't turn anyone into state champions, an ex-user posted on the social network platform after the Harris-Walz campaign paraded former Mankato football players out on the convention stage. I remember saying that, and this embedded tweet is where it happened. So still really, really confused about why they keep pushing the Coach Walz thing from a million years ago when Tim Walz was a volunteer assistant coach. Why not focus on his governorship? No, they just want to focus on Coach Walz. It's strange, wrote another person on X. Says, why does it say wrote another person wrote on X? Okay, people editing this, check that out. So it should just say wrote another person on X, or another person wrote on X. So you have 2 wrotes there. Anyway, it says it's weird, and yes, that is in fact weird. It says 2 different Tims. The coach narrative is part of the biggest lie about Walz as he steps onto his biggest political stage, that he's just your average flannel-wearing Midwest guy, since his campaign message and the record stand in contrast. He has painted himself as a hunter and a Second Amendment defender, while he goes about watering down gun owners' rights. He is a proud dad of 2 who has turned Minnesota into a sanctuary state for child sex changes, promoting the mutilation of minors for residents of neighboring states that ban such horrific procedures. He's a folksy Minnesotan and all business promoter and a small business promoter who believes one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. He's a defender of liberty who tyrannically locked down the citizens of his state during the pandemic and threatened them with fines and jail time if they didn't stay locked down, and some have never recovered. So as we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make, and even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule: mind your own damn business. Well, dude, you're a Marxist, and minding your own business isn't something that you're very good at. So it says, Walz said in accepting the vice presidential nomination, during his tenure as governor, the power-hungry Democrat has failed time and again to mind his own damn business. Sounds like that is in fact correct. It says he is not a centrist, a moderate, a consensus builder, a uniter. The real Tim Walz, not the fake everyman being sold to the American voter, is a radical leftist committed to aggrandizing the power of his party and himself. He's a liar. Not just a big talking BSer, but the malignant kind that has no business being anywhere near power. I would agree with that. I mean, since this dude came out as like the vice president, or was, I guess he wouldn't come out as it, he'd be nominated or chosen as the vice presidential candidate. That's the word I'm looking for. Like, he's done nothing but lie about everything. So I, like, I almost feel like there's a way, like, they should just be like, get him out of there because he's drawing too much heat. But, I mean, kind of goes right along with the Democrats and with their presidential candidates, just that they lie about everything. And like I said about communists, Marxists, far-left people, is that they lie about everything all the time. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.